So today I'm making a plastic-free, easy, sustainable toilet cleaner, but it'll be little tabs. It's actually very similar to a bath bomb. So if you've ever made bath bombs before, then it's the same really. It's really simple and it takes hardly any ingredients, and you'll be able to see. So the base of these is bicarbonate of soda, which I have in the red bowl, and to the bicarbonate of soda I'm going to be adding some citric acid. Now citric acid you can buy from many shops, or you can buy it online. It's basically extracted from oranges and lemons. It's a really natural thing. Now, the more citric acid you add, the more effervescent these little pods are going to be. So I've gone for about a quarter citric acid to 3/4 of bicarbonate of soda. So I'm just going to give that a mix. Now, as you can see, I'm going to be using an ice cream tray to make them, and you can use that, or you can just form them into little blocks, however you want really. So the next thing we need is water, which is actually going to bring these together. Now, we only want a small amount of water, really small. Just, it will fizz up as you because it's come in contact with the citric acid. So you actually want to mix it in really well, and this mixture, you're going to want it to come together. It's going to need to form into the blocks, but you don't want it as a paste. It should barely, it's almost like a sand consistency. If you're comparing it to baking, it's very similar to a shortbread consistency, if you've made shortbread before. So it's sand-like that is going to form as we put my hand in it, and then if you can see that there, it scrunches in my hand. So that's it coming into a form. We don't want it any more wet than that. If it's wetter than that, it's not going to dry out, and or it will dry out, it'll just take a lot longer. So we've got our sand consistency. Just give that a good mix in. If you do put too much water in, it's easy enough to just put some more bicarbonate of soda in there. Now I'm going to add some essential oil to these, and you can really add in, I mean, you want it to be antibacterial, but you also want it to be as much or as little as you like of the scent. I'm using lavender. Now you, to this amount, probably 10 to 20 drops is fine. If that's too powerful for you and you want something a little bit less, then go for 5 drops. So mix that in to there. So I've got the essential oils in like so. Now what I'm going to do is take this mixture. I'm just going to fill the trays, and we're going to need to tap this down because it is going to need to form into little blocks. So once you get a layer, you can just stick your finger in it to tap it down. Let's get that. Don't worry if you make a mess. So just tap it firmly in to the little sections. As I said, if you haven't got a tray like this, an ice cube tray, you could just form them into balls, put them out on a tea towel or some kitchen roll to dry out. Make them into little balls, and then they'll probably they might take a little bit longer, depending on the size, to dry out. I'm aiming for these to be done in about 24 hours due to the size, but you have to really judge it and see how dry they are when they come out. Once you turn it out of the tray, I would leave them another day really before you then put them in a jar in your bathroom to use, because we haven't got anything. I mean, the citric acid is a preservative in itself, and the essential oils are preservatives, but we haven't got anything else that's a preservative in here, and we've got water in there. So as soon as we introduce water into any remedy or anything we're making, that is an area that can mould. So we don't want that, so that's why we want them to dry out, so that we don't get the mould. Just continue to do this. And hopefully I'll be able to do here's one I made earlier, and you can see them finished. So you can just pop them in the loo whenever you want to clean it. Just leave it in the bottom. It might take a little while to fizz. Don't worry if that's the case. Depends on how much citric acid you've put in there. And then you can just give it a bit of a scrub round as you clean the toilet, as you normally would. You can just leave it in there to do its little effervescence in the bottom of the bowl. And you can do that as often as you want. So it's a really easy thing to make at home. You're not using any plastic or anything. It's very simple and cheap to be able to make your own. So there we go. Hopefully I will be able to show you, here's one I made earlier for you to be able to see what they look like when they're finished. So these are the little bath bombs for cleaning your toilet, and they are all ready. They came out of the mould really well. I'm just going to leave them to air dry for a couple of hours will be enough. They are actually pretty dry, just to make sure, so that they're going to go in the jar, but will be going in the bathroom for their plastic-free, easy to make, another cleaning item for the home. So definitely one to try, really easy, and you can make it with whatever you happen to have at home. Don't worry if you don't have citric acid, because that is one of the ones that you think, oh, maybe I don't have any of that. Just make it without, and it'll still do a lot of the job. So don't worry if you don't have that. But if you do, then great. Have you made these before? Have you made a different kind? Feel free to comment and let me know. And don't forget to subscribe.